come out clearly on that. You heard my minister. He said wholesale ban is totally out of the question. Yesterday, he even went a step further and said it will affect the economy. He's not making apologies for, I will always say, the middle look alike water body we see. Was I consulted? Yes. The minister will not make any decision regarding mining without speaking to the Minerals Commission. So even ahead of his coming, I had even made it somewhere, I think on Metro, that wholesale ban will not solve the problem. I'll catalog a lot of maybe reasons for that when we come back. But then my colleague here was talking about engagement. Something, again, humility and respect. I have read the statement of the organized groups. Let me use that simple term to put all of them together. When I go through them, I realize that there are a few things that they need to understand. I mean, the argument that the water bodies are not clear is not the best existential threat, whatever they want to call it. That one, nobody is contesting that because it's out there for everyone to see. I don't live in space. But then when you go to their statement, you realize that there are a few things that we need to, we want to let them understand. So the engagement is very, very important.
Do you subscribe to the minister when he says the economy will be in trouble?
Yes.
If it is halted?
Yes.
By the data from the Bank of Ghana, total gold export between January and April 2024 amounted to $2.17 billion, representing 38.5% of total export earnings within that period. If small-scale mining accounted for half of this, we are talking about just over $1 billion in 4 months. If you net out direct cost and the cost of environmental havoc, as well as health havoc, the net effect will be negative. You don't agree?
Something. I even have a more latest figure, as at June 30th, the small scale is $2.2 billion. But at this stage, we're not talking about figures. You see, when I listened to the professor, I think the earlier speaker, what's the name? Chinibio Akoduya. You can see that the argument, their response in response to the minister's statement yesterday, they were just looking at the revenue. You see, that's why this call for engagement is very important. They're just looking at revenue. But you see, there are two other issues that you have to look at. For example, people are shocked to know or hear that there are several thousands who are doing the underground. So you go to a place like Takwa, you go to a place where my minister comes from, the so-called New Frontier, Dakrupe, Tinga, they have licenses. So as far back as the time of Asuma Chairman, I was there when licenses were given. I was then a deputy CEO. Licenses were given to miners in Dakrupe and Tinga. They go underground. These are persons who are plying their trade that have nothing to do with the water body. They have nothing to do with the water body. So when you say respectfully that folks in Tinga, Dakrupe, Takwa should not work, we are uncomfortable with that because they are not responsible for the kind of thing.
They should not work for 4 months.
Well,
by doing so, you lose $2 billion. No, you say that's not worth it.
No, don't just look at revenue to government. You also have to look at jobs. And people in Takwa, Dakrupe, and Tinga have gone for loans. They've taken loans. They've taken millions of dollars to sink these shafts that are operating in a way that have nothing to do with taking the effluent or whatever waste into the Pra and Cobra or tunnel. I mean, these guys are there. They are not just one or two people. There are several thousands. So you also need to listen to them and hear them out. You understand? You need to listen to them because you go to Tinga, you don't have anything like Pra or even some parts of the Upper East. I just got a report from the Borga officer of the Minerals Commission, and then I've realized that he's indicated that if you go to Fumbisi, and that's Busa North and Busa South, there's an area called Kandema. They've started some kind of illegality, and when I saw the pictures, it was purely underground. So I've asked him, move quickly, let's formalize them, let's give them good catcher as an alternative to the use of mercury. I mean, these are the kind of things we're talking about. So Yes, the anger is there.
We'll explain the difference between the use of mercury and gold catcher.
Yeah, we'll shortly. We'll explain all that.
But you were talking about licenses, and the question that is coming up is that when we check from your repository, we see that between 2017 to 2024, there have been 1,500 plus mining licenses issued, as against 2009 to 2016, when there were 55 mining licenses issued. Between August and now, when we have started this discussion alone, you have granted as many as 30 plus. Don't you feel you should halt and pause, especially in this time?
Something again, let me explain that. One, some of them are renewals. Others, there are small-scale operations that have existed for 20, 30 years, and they are working quietly. Okay, so some of them are renewals. You must understand that. That's number one. Number two, this is an activity that was taking place in 5 regions: Ashanti, Central, Eastern, Western, which included Western North. You understand that? And then Upper is where you come from. Technology has made it possible for us to find gold in other parts of the country. So we are now seeing small-scale operations in 12, 13 regions. So numbers have gone up. That's why the licenses are also going up. But then the answer is rather the reverse. You don't issue the licenses, they go into the water body. They will go into the forest. They will go and do it illegally. Because I remember very well that the complaints of the small-scale miners is that we don't have license. We want license to go and work lawfully. I mean, there are several, thousands of Ghanaians out there who wants license to go and work and live in peace. So numbers, or the numbers you are seeing from our repository, is not synonymous with illegal mining.